Alrighty guys, we're back for some Defenders, and this is a Brothers War Standard Brew. We're going to go over the deck, then hop right into some Ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Redcat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to you. Yeah, we might be cheating here a little bit today, but it might be aggressive. It might be. Either way, guys. We also have that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Of course, I highly recommend it, right? Yeah, what do we got in the build here? Well, we got Walking Bulwarks. We're going to have to go over a lot of this because we don't see a lot of these cards. So this is a 1 mana 0/3 Defender. For 2 mana until the end of turn, target creature with Defender gains haste, can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, activate only as a sorcery. So a pretty cool card for Defender builds. With a couple Loran's Escapes just to protect some of our creatures, because holy cow, there's a lot of removal just messing up a lot of these builds, huh? Also, the Scry one is pretty good too, so we'll see. I think it's going to be important to protect some of our defenders sometimes. We have a couple Clockwork Drawbridge, a 1 mana 0/3 with Defender. For 2 and a white, you can tap it and tap target creature. Not the greatest, but it's an artifact, it's a Defender, so it's going to work well in here. We have a single Destroy Evil because it's an important card, because taking out enchantments is very important, hitting like wedding festivities and stuff like that. And then, of course, taking out Shieldred with a simple card like Destroy Evil is just amazing, right? For more removal, we actually have 4 Machine Over Matter. This is a 2 mana instant. It costs 1 less to cast if you control an artifact creature, which is going to be very, very often in here, that this is just 1 blue mana. 2, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So very solid tempo piece. Oops, I skipped over Surge Engine here. This is a 2 mana 3/2 with Defender, and a lot of you guys know Surge Engine at this point, but for a blue mana, it loses Defender and gains this creature can't be blocked. And then for 2 and a blue, it becomes blue and has base power toughness 5/4, activate only if Surge Engine doesn't have Defender. And then for 4 and double blue, you get to draw 3 cards, activate only if Surge Engine is blue, and only once. So Surge Engine is actually a pretty powerful card. It's just looking for the right home. I love that it's just also a Defender, so if we don't want to spend extra mana on Surge Engine, then it's going to work with the rest of the cards in the build too. We have 4 Coastal Bulwarks, and this is a 2 mana 1/3 with Defender, and it gets +2/+0 as long as you control an island, which is going to be very often in this deck, which is cool. For 2, you can tap it, and then Surveil for 1. And when you Surveil, you look at the top card of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. In this deck, you're probably not going to use that ability too often, but it's definitely possible, right? So we have 4 Patchwork Automaton. Since there are so many artifacts packed in here, we have to play at least one good card, right? So Patchwork Automaton, the Ward 2 protects it pretty much every single match. Every game you play Patchwork in, if you play this out on turn 2, the Ward 2 just stops your opponent from instantly removing it, because that tends to be what happens to your 2-drops, right? So yeah, it can grow out of hand, and then playing this with cards like Steel Seraph is absolutely disgusting. So for 1 and a double white, you can drop this for the prototype, and when you do, it's a 3/3. It has flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains your choice of flying, vigilance, or lifelink until the end of turn. So it also works with the artifact theme in here. It's not a Defender, but that's okay. Being able to give like a Patchwork flying is absolutely disgusting, guys. Steel Seraph also just puts in a lot of work with the lifelink too, so. We have a single Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter in here. This is a 3 mana 1/2 with flash and flying. You may cast colorless spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast that spell is greater than Liberator's power, put a +1/+1 counter on Liberator. So a pretty solid artifact overall. I'm not sure how often that flash is actually going to come in handy, but it's a cool artifact and it might be worth the one of in here. We have 4 Faithbound Judge, a 3-mana 4/4 Defender Flying Vigilance. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Faithbound Judge has 2 or fewer judgment counters on it, put a judgment counter on it. As long as Faithbound Judge has 3 or more judgment counters on it, it can't attack as though it didn't have Defender. So this card's actually pretty sweet, and against a lot of the aggro decks that we're seeing, you know, Soldiers, Mono Red, a few others as well. I'm still seeing a lot of like Mono Black aggro too, not just the mid-range. This can block really, really well. So when it's actually able to attack too, the fact that it has Vigilance is incredible. It has a Disturb cost here for 5 and double white. I don't know how often we actually do this, but if we do, it can come out as Sinner's Judgment. You get to enchant player, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put a judgment counter on Sinner's Judgment. Then, if there are 3 or more judgment counters on it, enchanted player loses the game. So like I said, I don't know how often we actually use this curse, but it's on the card, so it's worth going over, especially since we don't see it too often, right? On the top end here, we have a couple Wingmantle Chaplains. This is a 4-mana 0/3 with Defender, and when it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying for each creature with Defender you control. Whenever another creature with Defender enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. So that's a great way to help us win the game, or just get a bunch of chump blockers on the board too. We have a single Shield-Wall Sentinel, a 4-mana 1/3 with Defender. When Shield-Wall Sentinel enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with Defender, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So you can find your Wingmantle Chaplain, for example, or find anything you want, like a Faithbound Judge would be pretty cool too. Find your Bulwark so you can start attacking a control player, maybe. You never know. Okay, we have 3 Mishra's Foundries over here, and I don't think that's going to hold up the deck at all. Hopefully it doesn't hold up like actually playing out a Faithbound Judge or a Steel Seraph, since they both have the double white there, but I don't think it will. I have a single Soaring City and a single Seat of the Empire, as well as our dual lands over here. A couple honorable mentions: Lay Down Arms, Runic Shot, and Soul Partition should all be considered for removal in this deck, but maybe we'll talk more about that in the final thoughts, depending on what we go up against today. Okay, I'm scared to take this one into ranked because boy, oh boy, has it been brutal, but I think it's going to be brutal in normal play mode too, so we might as well try ranked, right? Either way, hopefully I went over the deck well enough. Let's go ahead, take it into ranked, and see how we do. Alright, we'll see if we can get right into that first match here. Heck yeah, we do. It's like I said, sometimes I wonder if there will ever be a moment where we don't find that first match. Now, every now and then, we have trouble finding the second match, but... Alright, this is a fine hand. This is a fine hand. Start with the plains. This is going to be a pretty fun deck, guys, as long as the opponents let us do a thing every now and then, right? This could be an instant cut down. It is not, so that's good news. Look at our 3/3 Bulwark, guys. Pretty cool. Tenacious Underdog, okay. Well, we have the Battlethopter if we want. Yeah, I think I'll go Battlethopter on their turn. I mean, we're not going to block with it or anything. It's like holding that off until the end. The -2 on the Bulwark is probably better than a -2. Like, we don't want to sacrifice the Battlethopter, do we? Yeah, we'll let that happen. Since the Battlethopter gets to grow quite nicely. Also gives flash to everything else too. This lets us take out the Liliana as well, so Okay, let's get the wastes down. Okay. So we have these on their turn since they're artifacts. I might end up doing that.
Fine. I'll take my zombies and leave.
Yeah, I'm going to. We can cast the Patchwork Automaton and the Bulwark on their turn. Just for fun. I mean, I don't think it'll affect too much here. Should I do it now and then block with the Bulwark? Now we'll take the 3. Yeah, we'll take the 3 because we can gain a bunch of life back with the Patchwork and the Steel Seraph. Eee. Flesh Gorger, that's pretty gross. That's pretty gross. Alright, let's get Patchwork down. They still have the swamp. Uh-oh. Well, we won't get the extra counter on Patchwork now. Yeah, that's a good reason to maybe do it on our turn, but it's still going to be 2-5. We wanted to still blitz... Not blitz, listen to me. We still wanted to get the Bulwark down, even though it doesn't buff the Automaton, because we had the open mana over here, so... Yeah, that kind of sucks. Now we can't swing with the Patchwork successfully. We can give it flying if we wanted to. We have Bulwark ability open. Yeah, we might as well. We might as well fly in with the Automaton. They're going to start gaining life here too. Yeah, the cut down kind of spoiled the play there, where if we would have just done it on our turn, then the Patchwork, well, they would have had... Okay, well, I'm definitely going to try to take out Flesh Gorger. Even if they have removal for one, the other one still takes it out. I guess they want the Steel Seraph gone. I think that's worth it. Flesh Gorger gaining them so much life and then also just being an aggressive threat. I'd say that's worth taking out. The Tainted Adversary, they gonna pay this? No, they don't have the 3. I guess we better surveil, you know? Might as well, right? Nice, I'll keep that on top. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Buffs the Automaton, which is sweet. Gets us 3 birdies in the sky. And they have great blockers for the Automaton, unfortunately, so... I'm trying to think if there's going to be a way around mono black here. Well, first of all, the Death Touch is a problem on the Tainted Adversary, so I'd rather take that out like this and then take the 3 here. We get to keep 1 bird. We got to try to grow the Patchwork above the underdogs. Okay. So it wasn't like a cut down for a birdie. So that's good. They go for the blitz on the underdog just for the draw. Makes sense to me. Like, they can try to play the long game here. Foundry's pretty good. Foundry's fine. We have a ton of mana on the board, though. They get to blitz the underdog next turn, too, and I can only imagine that an invoke's going to happen soon enough. I don't want to block with the Wingmantle Chaplain, so... Save the Bulwark back. Because we're at 8. Crap, yeah, we're at 8. Should probably save the birdie back, too. We have the Foundry as well, but we have to anticipate removal. Yeah, I guess we could have attacked with the Bulwark since we had Foundry, but yeah, removal's definitely a thing. The Invoke Despair could hit soon, which would be pretty bad. They go for the Blitzed Underdog. We're gonna take that other underdog out with the Foundry. Maybe Chump. Actually, if we would have taken 6, we would have had lethal damage here. We have 11 between these. We don't know what that last swamp is, so it could still be a cut down. I'll chump here. I'm gonna try to get 11 damage in next turn, guys. I know they could find the cut down or a blocker, that works too. But like, I had to try it, right? Okay. Yeah, so the blocker is a problem. Surge Engine's really good. Does this gain haste too? It does gain haste. So if we go... Oh, it costs 2 mana to power these up though. Crap. Crap, guys. So much mana for everything. Also, this would assign damage equal to its toughness instead, so... Oh, the fact that they have just a blocker just ready, you know? While we might not die next turn, keeping the Patchwork available to block the underdog is important because go for the throat. And we still have 3 blockers. They can blitz the underdog back and still have the cut down. Crap. Crap, guys. Alright, well, let's still risk it with the 2 attackers. So it's actually a lot of a tougher match with a lot more... Like, a lot of decisions to make everywhere, right? Because if they didn't have that 1 drop, though, we would have had 11 damage on the board with the Foundry, and they would have needed, like, another cut down. So now they need to blitz this back, and it could still be like another cut down or something. Regardless, mono black is always going to be an uphill battle. This feels like an Invoke Despair. Really? Really? Opponent? Well, I mean, it's nice to win. So, thank you. But what was it then? What was in there? They have 5 cards in their hand. They were going to lose the underdog, sure. Patchwork would have only taken 3. 5 cards in their hand and they concede. I can't imagine what would have been the issue there. Like, I know they're down to 8, but oh, maybe it was go for the throat. Maybe go for the throat was their removal. That's very possible, guys. That's very possible. Even so, I don't know. Like, I guess they could have saved blockers back potentially with the underdog and everything. I'm not sure I deserved that one, but we got there, so relatively satisfied, I guess. All right, we'll start with the deserted beach. Why not? Pretty solid hands. Yeah, might as well get this down too. Surprise them with that island next turn. Unless this type of deck has haste, which means the island would have been the better play. Yeah, they might have haste. No, they don't, luckily, but that's something to think about for sure. Steel Seraph. The Thopter's fine to keep open. I think we just keep Thopter open. How do you guys feel about that? So our 3/3 Bulwark probably doesn't get gobbled up by Harvester. I mean, I'll take the trade. All right, let's try it. It's a good trade for us. I feel like that's a terrific trade. I mean, I guess we want defenders on the board, but like Blood Tithe Harvester can be an absolute pain. Ah, okay. Corpse Appraiser. They do get that extra card now that they can hit a creature in the graveyard, so that makes a little bit of sense. So some basic Grixis over there. We might actually be able to do a thing against Grixis, honestly. So the Bulwark would make more sense for the Thopter, but just getting one of the Steel Seraphs down, that's 100% fine. Then we'll still have the island open for the Machine over Matter, which is pretty good too. I don't really know what would be better here, because we're not planning on blocking with that. I guess the lifelink then, just for the sake of getting an extra couple life. And we'll see if the Machine over Matter actually does something for us. Because against this deck... Oh yeah, we're taking the 3. If we can bounce a Sheoldred this turn, that would be huge for us. Just like completely stopping their turn 4. Blood Tithe Harvester. See, like these cards are really bad to hit with the Machine over Matter. Oh man. Alright, I'm gonna hold it back. Yeah, I think a little bit of tempo against something like Sheoldred would just be a little bit better. So, second Steel Seraph can hit. And we could have a good chunk of life gain in the air. It's gotta be some spot removal from the opponent. We get the Bulwark down too, but for this particular board, we don't need it. So you, and we'll go life link, since again, I don't plan on blocking here, so it's just better to gain some life and let them swing in, if that's what they're feeling. So the question is then, do we want to keep the Machine over Matter open or get the Bulwark down? And I think we just keep this open in case they end up finding like a decent, like even Soaring. We've been seeing Soaring a lot more, which makes sense to me. Oh, that's right. We can flash out the Bulwark too. Yeah, the Thopter is out of here. We will not be able to flash in the Bulwark after that, but I think it's still better to keep this. Okay, Invoke Despair number 1. They're actually going down to 8 here. And the Machine over Matter, again, just doesn't do anything. We can always bounce their Appraiser, but that's, like, pretty bad. So I guess playing the Bulwark would have just been better. It would have been a lot more damage. But you never know, like, when's the Sheoldred gonna drop and stuff? Yeah, no blocks. And now that the Invoke Despair drew them a good chunk of cards, right? 2 cards. Yeah, getting Bulwark down would have been really good here. If it was already on the board, you know? So here's something cool, though. So that blocks really well. And we can use the last 2 to give this haste, actually. We might as well. We might as well, guys. Yeah, give something lifelink, swing in. It's pretty cool, man. Down to 2, but, you know, somehow I'm not feeling confident. I think it's the fact that we are up against Grixis, you know? And there have been so many games over the last month or so where we get the opponent down to 1 or 2, and like they run away with it from there, and hey, we got another victory. Let's go, guys. What on earth is happening? Like, we have to be getting lucky, right? The opponents have so many cards in hand. You know what would make me really happy? If it's just go for the throat. I wish we could see the opponent's hand, you know? like Go for the Throat being one of the main pieces of removal that we're seeing doesn't hit a whole lot in this particular deck, so it might be, honestly. But like another Invoke Despair could have hit that turn too, but then they would have we had a lot on board, I guess. They would have had to save their blocker back. Probably needed a second blocker too, especially since we were able to give defenders haste. So and see, I'm not a big fan of this hand, but we could draw into something, and we just got 2 victories in a row too. Opponent goes first. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this time. Ooh, it got worse somehow. Oh no. All right, down to 5. Let's do this. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is actually much better, huh? So let's keep, All right, let's ditch the Sentinel. Let's ditch the Bulwark number 2. 2 land, 3 creatures. Not bad. Not bad. Going down to 5, it's scary, but we've done it before. We've done it on video before, so maybe it'll be another one. And if not, like, it's 100% fine. Like I said, 2 victories in a row with a deck that I initially anticipated to be janky. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Mardu Angels and a lot of land. Maybe I should have sent a land back, huh? Now that probably would have been pretty bad, honestly. Yeah, we're just gonna go Patchwork and pass the turn right back. Getting Steel Seraph down next turn's pretty good, but man, there's a lot of great stuff they could play this turn. Start with the swing since it has Vigilance. Oh, crap. That is terrifying. We just played some Angels, and we weren't able to pull a lot off with it, but right out the gate here, the opponent has a terrifying board. Surge Engine's actually pretty good, and we might just pay and surprise with the Steel Seraph next turn. We can keep this open, because it says nothing about doing it only as a sorcery, so for now we'll keep it open. And the Archangel is probably enough to just pull this for the opponent right away. Like, I don't think they have to play a lot more here. Yeah, we can't block the Giada well. Down to 12, they're up to 24. This could be simple removal, more Angels. Oh, yeah, they get to pop the Surge Engine with the second Archangel. Oh no, guys. Well, that's gotta be it then, right? Steel Seraph is great, but Wingmantle gets us a couple 1/1s that we can block in the air with, I guess. That's probably pretty good too. We'll get a couple 1/1s. We can't swing into this, right? A 5/6. Oh man, I wish we could have pulled something off like that when we played our Mardu Angels, guys. Would have been awesome. I'm trying to remember the matches for that video, and I'm having trouble remembering because that would have been a week ago. So we'll just chump the 5 and take the 6 down to 6 and see if they can wrap up the game here. Watch the 3rd Archangel drop this turn and just like take out the Patchwork. Well, they can't take out the Patchwork because of the ward, luckily. No, nothing this time. Okay. Well, hold on now. We might be able to pull this back, right? Start with the Steel Seraph. Everything feels so weak hitting the board against this right now. We can swing with Patchwork and give lifelink. Oh, it's going to be some removal. Okay. Not this time, I guess. We have the chump blocker. We might be able to survive long enough here. This might be a Mardu build that runs... Yeah, we better go lifelink. Yeah, it might be a Mardu build that runs Wandering Emperor, though, so... Oh, I remember. I remember the last match of that. I remember why we couldn't do a lot. We had 2 matches against Grixis, and the Grixis decks just ran away with it. And then the last match was just insane. Okay, they get rid of the other chump blocker, but we now have the Steel Seraph. See, go for the throat. There it is, guys. That's what the... I guess if you're struggling with removal... Wow, the 3rd Archangel hits the board, takes out the last blocker, and they have 9 in the air exactly. A good game, opponent. Holy cow. Oh, man, that is brutal, brutal stuff. I mean, yeah, it happens, right? Yeah, go for the throw. I bet that's what was chilling in the opponent's hands the last couple victories, right? I bet it was just a go for the throat. Yeah, 3rd Archangel. We couldn't remove the Giada, so all these extra counters on these, they all have lifelink, and then when you actually do get enough mana to use these abilities, it can clean up the opponent's board very nicely. It's actually shocking that we don't see more Mardu Angels, just like in general. Like, doesn't it feel like it should be part of the meta? I was saying this yesterday. Is the meta really that powerful that, like, in that particular scenario, I was talking about Raiju, where Raiju is just an incredible 4-drop that feels too slow sometimes, and it's crazy to me that it feels slow. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, don't worry, guys. We're not going to draw any land, right? We're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, see Surge Engine. Okay, good, good, good. Got a Plains over there. We'll be able to drop Surge Engine, have Machine Over Matter open, as well as the ability here. Oh! Oh! Okay. Another Machine Over Matter. Alright, let's get that Surge Engine down. And let's just keep this open. No swings. Yeah, let's keep this open. Looks like this card might actually be able to do something this game, where it didn't feel like it could do a lot against that other Grixis build. While the opponent's taking their turn, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. Excuse me, guys. Okay, Adeline. Okay. We should probably return that to their hand. It kind of, you know, gives us good tempo, kind of stops their whole turn. They probably don't want to swing in now. Well, they still might, because I don't think we block here. But they want a blocker is the big thing, right? So let's get the wastes down. Let's buff the engine. Let's buff the engine. I'm okay with that. Keep Patchwork back for just the turn. I think that's a great block for the opponent is the problem. We could have just buffed once and kept the other Machine Over Matter open, but I think this is fine. Because we can block the 1/1 that they generate if they swing, but at this point, it might be pretty dangerous to swing. Uh-oh. Okay. The seat hits, but I don't think it's going to be anything fancy. Let's take the 2. The Vigilance on the Assembler is pretty nice. Pretty cool. I didn't really get to play with this card too much, but I think it's a cool one. Lay down arms. Oh, man. Okay, well, there goes all that mana we just pumped into the Surge Engine. Okay. Well, the good news is we didn't really draw too much land. So that's good. Like, we had way too much land in that opening, so... Alright. Clockwork Drawbridge comes down, buffs the Patchwork, and we can totally return that Adeline to their hand, but we're going to have an issue of what else are they playing. We return Adeline this turn. we might get a good block in. If they end up double blocking... Alright, let's swing, see what they do, because we might be able to take out the assembler if they double block. We return Adeline. Yeah, they're going to take the 3. We can't use this ability because it has to tap itself, so it needs... Alright, I'm going to keep the machine over matter open and maybe return Adeline before they attack. Maybe. It's going to be tricky, guys. This is going to be a tough one. Because we're going to need to draw, like, perfectly. Like, we can't see another land for most of this game. Okay, Steel Seraph. That's probably better to return. Because we don't want them to have lifelink. Tough decisions, guys. Or maybe I'm just not... Maybe I'm just not with it today. I feel like there's tough decisions. We still won't be able to block the Adeline here. Oh, I'm sorry, opponent. You're waiting on me. What is being held up here? Oh, I just put a stop on, didn't I? Alright, we'll attempt to block here and take 4. The Vigilance on the Adeline, too. Oh, that's right. They can buff that mid-battle. Man, the Assembler's cool. Let's get that last mana down. Look at this, huh? Full-blown Steel Seraph. Hitting that board. Giving lifelink. Actually, the Vigilance might be a little bit better here. Yeah, the Vigilance might be a little bit better. Okay, now I'm pretty afraid of the Assembler, actually. Yeah, this doesn't say anything about just sorcery speed, so yeah, being able to buff it, we could have still had the Drawbridge down. I should have blocked the human. That's my bad, guys. Brutal Cathar, yep, takes the Steel Seraph, and at this point, this has to be leaning towards the opponent, right? I can't imagine an actual way through here. Look, they can buff the Assembler again, taking out Automaton. I guess we block the Adeline, but that leaves us with nothing. So let's just take the extra damage. Let's see if we can actually draw more here. I don't know what we could draw. So they leave the 1 open. They don't buff the Assembler for extra damage, so it's going to be a 1-drop Hopeful Initiate. Oh, Foundry. Alright, I guess that's that, huh? So if they have another Brutal Cathar, it actually comes down as Brute, so they can't hit the Automaton. Plus, they would have needed an extra mana because of the Ward too as well. Technically, we can survive here by blocking the Adeline and blocking their next highest creature with the Foundry. But it really depends what they play too, so Steel Seraph can give Adeline flying, and then that would be that. Let's see if that's what they do. I think that's what they do. Yeah, the Steel Seraph, man. It's a powerful card. I'll still go in with my blockers and everything. I like our deck. It's definitely janky, but it's the cool kind of jank, you know? Alright, we can block the Brute successfully, and we'll block a 1/1, and then drop them the good game. So last turn, taking out the Adeline would have been better, but I don't know. Either way, it wasn't looking great. So keeping the Patchwork in hopes of like actually seeing like a second Steel Seraph to potentially get some lifelink on or something. Even then, we were gonna need the blocker though, huh? So let's try to get one more match in, guys. These were relatively short overall, I guess. Yeah, kind of, sort of. We're 40 minutes in, so hopefully this one doesn't take too long. Hey, opponent. Okay, we're going to keep it this time. I think we can find that 3rd mana successfully. You got to start with Deserted Beach in case we don't draw an open mana next turn, right? So that way we can actually get Patchwork down. We got the deserted beach for turn 3, guys, which means Steel Seraph can hit, but Faithbound Judge as early as possible is really good. The Death Touch on Sleeper is a pain in the butt, so they're going to be getting a lot of extra damage through. But overall, okay, see, cut down, can't hit the Automaton. Second Sleeper, yeah, these are going to be a big pain in the butts, but let's get the Faithbound Judge down. Get those counters flowing, huh? We might even just block with it, honestly. We might. I think that would be a great trade for them, so we don't even try to attack with the Automaton. So it needs 3 judgment counters on it, so it needs to survive for 3 of our upkeeps. But like I said, we might just block with it into these sleepers. Even if they do give the Death Touch, like it might be a worthwhile trade. They go for the Flesh Gorger. Oh my goodness. The Judge holding down the fort for a turn. Let's get another Judge out there, huh? We have another one in hand. The Automaton isn't getting buffed. But, like, that's okay. Let's see what these Judges can do, huh? We can double block the Flesh Gorger successfully. Like, really successfully. Like, even if they have a spot removal for 1. They'd want a spot removed before we blocked, and then they'd be able to take out Automaton if we double blocked with that too, so it really depends. Get the Death Touch. Okay. I'll tell you what, guys. Maybe I don't block here. Oh, they didn't swing. They did not swing, guys. Let's get the 3rd Faithbound Judge down just because it's really funny. Like, this card is actually, like, the way this can hold down a fort. I'm really happy right now. So every single turn, starting next turn, we're going to get a new 4/4 with Vigilance in the air. So they have to have something here. If they drop like a... Oh, actually, second Foundry stops them from having like an Invoke Despair since they need the 4 black sources. Get the Death Touch on the Sleeper, sure. They get the Gix down, and now that confirms we're blocking. We're trading, guys. Actually, we'll definitely trade with this one. This one's going to start swinging next turn. I'm going to take 3. They're probably going to take 1. This is a good trade for us, and so's the other one, honestly, but since... We could take 6, but they're going to draw 2 then. Steel Seraph gains us potentially 4 on the first Judge. I think this is worth it. Take out 1, take 3 from the other. You know, make sure they don't draw 2 cards this turn. I think that's worthwhile. Okay. Faithbound Judge number 1 can now successfully swing. Let's get that Steel Seraph on the board. And let's start with Lifelink since it has everything else. Back up to 19 here, and the other Faithbound Judge is going to be able to start swinging here soon. Where's the opponent's removal, guys? It's in their deck. We know. We know for a fact it's in the deck. Invoke Despair number 1. Alright, Patchwork. I'm sad to see you go, buddy, but this board is stacked. Like, look at how much damage we have in the air. They only have a Foundry. We're going to take that. No blocks. No blocks, because we can go more lifelink. Faithbound Judge number 2 can now attack successfully. We have... probably the other Steel Seraph. That's too good to pass up. That's way too good to pass up. Guys, this is actually pretty insane. Who's targeting what? There we go. Lifelink. Lifelink. Swing, swing, swing. The vigilance on the judges, guys. We might as well get this down too. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have done that. We don't know exactly what kind of board wipes they could be running. I don't think a lot of board wipes for mono black would hit this. All right, Clockwork is the go-to there. They get some draws and they need some removal, but I think we got there, guys. This was actually insane. Cool. I'll take it, man. I'll take it. I like this deck. It's fun. It's janky. It's cool. Not a whole lot else to say about it, honestly. Like, I guess overall it's better than I thought it was going to be, but that's mainly because we're playing with just amazing cards, you know? Okay, yeah. Here's the deck list again. What would I add or take out? Not a whole lot. The Machine Over Matter did not do as much as I wanted it to do today. Like, I thought it was going to be a lot more... thought there were going to be a lot more tempo moments to do with it, but in reality, we just needed more removal in general. So, like a Fateful Absence or just your choice of removal might be better. Like, I thought there would be more tempo moments, but not really. Not today, at least. More testing's required, I guess. Patchwork was cool. Steel Seraph was amazing. In that last game, we got to see the Faithbound Judge put in a bunch of work too, which I'm just kind of shocked that the opponent didn't have 1-for-1 spot removal for each of our judges. Like, let's be real. That's usually what happens, right? They have each go for the throat that is actually packed into their deck. They have all three of them, right? They have the Infernal Grasps. I guess something cool is, you know, Cut Down doesn't hit the judge. So if they just have a bunch of Cut Down packed in there and then the Go for Throats, I don't know. Like, at least the Go for Throat doesn't hit like Steel Seraph, Patchwork, Bulwark number 1 and 2, right? Surge Engine, you know, the Go for the Throat doesn't hit any of that, which is awesome. Overall, pretty cool. I don't think the Clockwork Drawbridge is worth having in here just for the sake of it being a defender, though. I think just more removal would do better. And then maybe replacing the Machine Over Matter with removal too, but like I said, overall, more testing's required. Maybe even dropping the Drawbridge for 2 more chaplains, right? Because we have 23 mana in here. I would maybe drop Drawbridge for 2 more chaplains. Actually, maybe the Sentinel too, because Sentinel ended up being one of those things. We didn't really see it, but if we did, we would have just grabbed another defender, and maybe it's just better to have that other defender. So maybe Sentinel go up a Chaplain. Both Drawbridge could probably be cut, go up the 4th. Chaplain, go up an extra piece of removal. And then maybe replace the Machine Over Matter for removal, or test it out some more too, I guess. I think the Coastal Bulwark was really cool, and that artwork is just fantastic. That is like some of the coolest, like, I don't know what, like, it's so cool seeing the waves crashing against this giant shield, you know, but Surge Engine just has a huge target on its back, unfortunately, and it technically doesn't pair too well with the Walking Bulwark, but you're not always going to see the Walking Bulwark, and you're not always going to have the open mana to use that ability, so being able to take that defender off the engine on its own is definitely worth having in here. And that's a similar case for the Judge as well. Just, you know, just actually having it sit on the board for all those extra turns. Once it starts swinging in, like the Flying Vigilance is going to be very hard for the opponent to keep up with. And then we had that Steel Seraph just gaining us life too. So yeah, pretty gross. Oh, the Liberator was pretty cool when we saw it. Yeah, this was definitely worth the one of. I like this. More testing's required for the Liberator, and if we get any more powerful artifacts out of like the next set or anything, then dude, like artifacts, oh man, they're already tough. I have a feeling if we get more powerful artifacts, we're not going to see Go for the Throat too often. So I'm assuming today the opponents were pretty annoyed having that card in their hand, so guys, if you made it this far into the video, then y'all are champions, and I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.